All right, today we're going to get a little philosophical. We're going to dive into what separates our real worlds from our virtual ones, and, maybe even question the idea of the self we build inside them. Let's get into it. So, this line from the Tiger Archer, this is where it all starts. It's this idea that our whole exploration really begins at the exact moment the reality we thought we knew just falls apart. And that really is our first big theme here, isn't it? How these virtual experiences, these worlds we build and inhabit, kind of force us to take a hard look at what we even mean when we say something is real. So this is the question I really want you to wrestle with. What is reality when you do something big, something you've worked for, and it just feels hollow? When you realize all your progress was just part of a game that didn't actually change anything important? The Tiger Archer just nails this feeling. I mean, think about it. They talk about beating this big boss, this reptilian master, right? But then immediately ask, so what? What good did it do? If the whole system that put that boss there is still running, was that victory even real? Or was it just a distraction? So if the things we do can feel that hollow, what does that say about who we are? This leads us to our next big idea. We're going to look at these characters less like individuals and more like, well, like philosophical archetypes, each one trying to find some kind of true self in the darkness. And this is such a critical question. I mean, for anyone who's ever just followed a quest line in a game, or even a career path in real life, how much of you is actually you? And how much is just the role that you've been given to play? And here, we see two totally different ways of dealing with this. On one side, you have the frog warrior. His whole purpose is laser focused on a personal vendetta. One guy, one mage. But on the other side, the Tiger Archer is fighting something way bigger, way more abstract, an entire system. These are just fundamentally different ways to look for meaning. And you can just hear the cost of that focus in the frog warrior's words. He put everything he had into getting revenge. But now he's looking back and wondering, was it worth it? That one single purpose might have made him blind to everything else. It was a quest that, in the end, might have just eaten the very life it was supposed to be for. Okay, so this brings up a huge debate. If reality itself is shaky, and if the purposes we find can be traps, then what's the deal with illusion? Is it a good thing, something that protects us, or is it something that just traps us? Let's just put it out there. When the truth is just too much to bear, is a comforting lie a necessary tool to survive? Or is it actually just a cage with softer bars? So you've got two camps, right? On the one hand, illusion is a shield, a tool that keeps you sane. On the other, it's a dangerous lie, a facade that will eventually bring you to ruin. To dig into this, let's bring in our next philosopher, the fantasy knight, who has a surprisingly down-to-earth take on all this. And there it is, the pragmatist's view. The fantasy knight is basically saying that when reality becomes completely unbearable, holding on to an illusion that saves you isn't weakness. It might just be the only sane option you have. So how does this even work? How can our brains make something fake feel so real? Well, it comes down to this idea of salience. Just think of it like a chemical highlighter in your brain. It's fueled by dopamine, and it marks an experience as important. And it honestly doesn't care if that experience was real or just a dream. It's why a nightmare can mess you up long after you wake up, and it's why these illusions can have so much power. All right, but what happens when you strip all of that away? When the quests are gone, the systems dissolve, the powerful illusions fade, what is left at the absolute rock bottom of consciousness? Our next section gets pretty stark, because it's reflecting a mind that's been boiled down to its most basic parts. According to our next guide, when everything else is gone, this is all you have left. Just words. You can feel the smallness of it, can't you? This profound limitation. A consciousness that's trapped, and the only tool it has is language. And even that tool isn't perfect. Language is just a bridge, and a pretty fragile one at that. It connects the self, the subject, to the reality it's trying to understand, the object. But that connection is never whole, it's never direct. And this is where we meet our final voice, the alien plasma bomb. It sees itself as a mechanical eye, a being of pure observation. It doesn't act, it doesn't buy into quests or illusions, it just watches, from a place of absolute total despair. So we're coming to the end here, but this isn't the kind of ending that gives you a nice, tidy answer. No, this one leaves us with a final, really unsettling thought, a question that just kind of echoes. And this is a truly chilling idea. It's a total rejection of our most basic instinct. The plasma bomb is arguing that our biological need to survive is, in a situation with no hope, actually foolish. That drive doesn't preserve your life in any meaningful way, it just preserves your insanity. It just keeps you suffering. And that's the question we're left with. If the system is broken, if your purpose is a lie, and if just staying alive only prolongs the madness, why bother? It's a question with no easy answer, a question that gets to the very heart of what it means to exist in any reality.